I've learned that I'm Anishinaabe, and I'm an Anishinaabe man, and I have a connection to this land, and I have an obligation to this land. And so my goal moving forward is to learn what that means for me and learn how to interact with the land in a way that benefits myself and also the land and the people around me. Ani bojo, Zhaawnong Indigenous Jijakandorem, Anishinaabe Ninendao, Mississauga Anishinaabe wa Kitindonjaba. Hello, my name is Zhaawnong. I am a Crane Clan of the Anishinaabe Nation, and I come from the territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe people of the Williams Treaty.
Want to come learn about birch bark, Haley?
Yeah.
So, our word about birch bark.
There's a real shift happening in Canada, I've found, with climate change and just kind of the need for people coming together. What I've been told and what I've been taught as an Anishinaabe person is that all peoples and all knowledges should be brought together to create a new and progressive way of seeing the world. The best way to interact with a space is to acknowledge and to work with the knowledge base that has been learned and interacted with that space for time immemorial.
Anishinaabe is the word weegwas.
So when I first got to university, I took on the responsibility of learning fire teachings and learning how to be a firekeeper. And what I've learned from that is how to be what's called a shkabewis, and shkabewis means helper. Learning to be a firekeeper and learning to be a shkabewis has introduced me into aspects of my culture like ceremony and gatherings that I might not have had access to before. Being a shkabewis, being a firekeeper, means that you're a helper and that you're somebody who's in that space to make sure that the space is safe and create a space that is inclusive and brings in people like yourself who are trying to learn and connect.
Where do you want to build the fire? The crickets.
There's a misconception that a fire is just something that we enjoy or something that we roast marshmallows over. But as Anishinaabe people, the fire or the shkode is a very, very important being for us. It's very much kind of a center or a symbol for community and for learning. Anywhere you go in life, you're going to find that there's a fire in the center of what's going on. Within ourselves, we have a fire that's burning within us. Here on Earth, we have that fire that's in the center of the Earth, that's warming the Earth. And in the sky, we have the fire that's the sun that we travel around as we navigate through space. When you go into a community, you'll see that fire, you'll see that symbol in the center of our community. That fire is not only something that we interact with and that we work with, and it gives us heat and it gives us food, but that fire can also act as a bridge between this world and the spiritual world. We like to offer our sama, our tobacco, and our medicines to that fire, and that fire is going to carry that medicine and our thoughts up into the spirit world. And starting that fire is a lot of work and takes a lot of practice and takes a lot of learning. And for a long time, Indigenous peoples have had to use many different tools to create that fire and bring that fire to our community. And so I'm learning how to create fire kind of with the least amount of materials possible, so that if I find myself where I need to create a fire but I don't have those tools available to me, I can do that. As Anishinaabe people, we always have had people who are responsible for that fire, and so these people would learn how to create the fire from scratch with the materials around them, typically materials that come from trees like the birch tree or the cedar tree, and they would be responsible for creating that fire, and they'd be responsible for keeping that fire, and oftentimes bringing that fire and picking it up and taking it with us. Social media is a platform that we all carry in our pockets that unlocks a space of learning and education, creativity, art, music, and all those things. And for Indigenous peoples, social media has become a community. I create content surrounding Indigenous histories, Indigenous knowledge, and a little bit of Indigenous humor. And I'm told all the time from my elders and from my teachers back home that what I'm doing and the work that I do online is good work. My workshops create a space for Indigenous peoples and non-Indigenous peoples alike to come together. Very much like starting that fire for our community, those of us who are learning to use our voice are creating that fire for Indigenous youth to find comfort in and to find a space where they can share their voice and share their stories.